one of the best
Flicker.
Irish.
I barely know her.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, cool.
Welcome, everybody, once again to this episode of the Chill Filtered Podcast, where we drink whiskey so you don't have to. Today's episode is episode 292. Today's going to be a fun one. We're going to drink some Irish whiskey today. We're going to drink some of the Spot series, specifically the Red Spot 15 year. But before we do that, we're going to talk a little business. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our Discord server. So I want you to join our Discord server. If you're interested in chatting about whiskey, if you're interested in asking questions about whiskey and starting conversations, just hit us up on Instagram. Send us a message, ask us to invite you to the Discord server. We'll get you in there where we talk about whiskey. We'll talk about new releases. We'll say, hey, I heard you can buy this online somewhere. Get all that good info for you on our Discord server and chat with us and have a good time. But that's the business for now. Moving into the podcast. Cole, how you doing? How was your week?
I'm good. You know, it's funny, like this is your first time leading off today. So listeners and viewers, give him a little applause.
Thank you.
The funny thing is, you are so not like so, but you are much slower paced than I am. So you get used to it. Yeah.
That's my absolute number one, like public speaking, like presenting at work, which I'm really not that great at presenting at work. I mean, I do my best, but like the number one thing that I always tell myself is just go slower. Like people, it will calm everyone down if you just leave a little bit of gap in there. Don't say some ums, instead just say nothing. That's totally. So that's what I try to do.
No, that's great. I struggle with that because, and it's not like people have been listening for this long. I'm very comfortable, and I've always been comfortable public speaking. But it took a little bit to get used to it, like on a podcast format. But yeah, I like that. You're on your way.
Slow down.
Yeah. No, I don't know if I could do that though. Like, yeah, I do public speaking a lot, and I like that people know who I am, because I'm not a slow talker in general either.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and like when you do it, it's so exciting. It's like you're excited. It's so I don't know. We'll see if my
you're exciting too, though, Brian. What are you entry buzzing on?
Oh yeah, okay. So I am actually close to what we're drinking today. I am entry buzzing on the Blue Spot.
Oh, 7 year, baby.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I would have guessed 9, but 9's the gold spot. I forgot. Yeah, I'm doing the cast strength one. Yes. I was kind of doing a little sorting of the old collection earlier and everything, and having a little this and that. So today was a great day for me to do my first open too, because I've had a glass or two already, and now here I'm doing the high proof Blue Spot, lead into that Red Spot. So yeah. What about you? What are you drinking?
I started with last week's pour, the 13th Colony rye. Finished that, but there was only like a half ounce in that little sample bottle. So
still as good as
now. I'm going on Compass Box, Great King Street or whatever, or King something.
Yeah, you know what the deal is with that one?
Marketer. What's that?
You know what the deal is with that one? Is it different kind of grain or
not an idea? It is a little bit peaty, but I imagine it's a blend. I mean, it's Compass Box, but it's a little bit peaty, but not too peaty.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Was that 13th as good as you remember?
Yes. Yeah. I'm sad I only had so little of it. Yeah, it was very nice, very candy, very sweet, and sharply sweet, which I dig. So yeah, 2 things in my life right now. One, tomorrow morning I'm going to be waking up early and risking it all.
Yeah.
Once again, to see if I just get something lame. Not that Stag was lame. Stag was not lame. But 5.5 hours for Stag was a little lame.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping. So they on the list are a few things that I would like. Mr. Sam is one, but I have a feeling I probably won't see that. And then secondly, what is it? Russell's Reserve, Camp Nelson F or whatever. The single rick house.
Yeah. And, you know the price on that one's a little steep, you know. Yeah,
it's like 300 or something like that, right?
It is. Yeah,
it might be worth it. I
Oh, no,
hear
no.
it's
From
fantastic.
from what I've
Yeah.
heard, yeah, I've
Yeah.
not heard a single negative review about that,
Mhm.
even considering the price tag. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just one of those
Mhm.
where if you want to spend that much, you're going to get
Totally.
something awesome. But yeah,
Yeah. And then same with Mr. Sam. Mr. Sam's like 2 or 3 250, 300 or something like that.
yeah. But that has so
But
much prestige. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And we had that. That was like episode like 100 or so. We did
Oh, cool.
um Mr. Sam and I hated it. But I have a feeling it'll be worth having. Um
Yeah,
and so that's what I'm excited about tomorrow. And the nice thing is like when I do get there, I talk to great people. People are nice, and
yeah,
it's fun to talk whiskey and talk all that stuff. And then the people that show up later, like asking questions, and it's fun to answer them. And
yeah. Have
um,
you decided on a store? You know exactly where you're going?
yeah, I'm going to the
Yeah.
one I went to last time and the time before. 2 times ago, I got Parker's Heritage. Worth it. Totally worth it. This last time I got Stag, and that was it. But luckily, on my way home, I dropped by another ABC store after the Stag and picked up a Weller Special Reserve. So it wasn't
Oh,
wasn't
wow.
a terrible day.
Yeah. And
And
this is the store where you had gone 2 times ago, you had gone to another store and you saw the list and you were like, what? And then you left and went to
yes,
the one that you're going to tomorrow.
that's correct.
Nice. Okay.
And then
So,
it turned out that last time the stores had in like the store the one that was closer to my house had better options.
yeah,
So I'm thinking they're gonna alternate. I'm just thinking like the other one's a bigger store in general, like the one that
right.
I have been going to. So I
Yeah.
think the risk is there, and I can also drop by on my way home to the other one. So I won't
Yeah.
get like a Stag or anything crazy, but I will maybe get like a I don't know, like a Weller Special Reserve or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I know there's no way to know, but I'm pretty sure I'd make the exact same decision you're making of
yeah,
just
and
like the
my
idea
fuel
that
is
they would
FOMO.
alternate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like, do I show up at 7? If I showed up at 7, either time I'd still get something amazing, but the
Right.
FOMO leads me and it's not like what if they had it, Mr. Sam? If
Yeah.
they did, I would regret it so hard. And that's
Yeah.
why I show up at like 5 o'clock. It
Yeah.
sucks,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's worth it.
And I know
If it
it's
were
like
a Mr.
I get these things in my head where it's like, well, I used to. I actually haven't done this in a while where I like go
Mhm.
try to get to Total Wine super early, but
Yeah.
it used to get to me where it's like I'm kind of wrapping up, I'm putting my shoes on, I'm about to go out the door and then I'm like, "Oh, do I want to grab a water?" And I'm like, "No, what if at the time that it
Yeah.
took you to go grab that
Yes, and
water?"
that's happened to me
I know.
before. Like the
That's
one
happened to me
time
too.
I almost got a Stag, the dude behind me in the parking lot starts speeding up and he's 6th in line for the case.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't get a Stag
I have
once again,
definitely I don't remember what it was, but I've missed out on something because as I was getting out of my car, there was somebody that was literally like 4 steps in front of me. It's like
And you
if
don't
I
wanna
hadn't
yeah,
turned around to get that water on my way out the door.
yep, it's real. But, like, when
Yeah.
it's, like, 4 in the morning, it's a different story.
Yeah.
But still, I would hate to miss out on
I did
something as amazing as those.
I did skim that list real quick.
What else is on there that you saw?
Well, so the one that's really sticking out in my mind, I know I saw at least 5, 6, or
Yeah.
7 things that were like, "Ooh, ooh."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the one that's still sticking in my mind is a Michter's 10 bourbon, because I feel like,
Oh,
you know,
and I hear
if
great things from 2023.
yeah, and the 2023 Michter's 10 Rye, apparently some reviews came out recently. Breaking Bourbon,
Uh-huh.
I think, gave it like 5 out of
They
5.
gave it a killer score now that I remember it, yeah.
Like maybe highest score ever. I don't know, but
Yeah.
everybody's freaking out about the 2023
Huh.
Michter's Rye now.
You know what the funny
Um,
thing is that last time the store closer to me had Victor's 10 Rye and bourbon.
yeah.
So I should have
Well,
gone with
that's what
that one last time.
I feel like, if the store's gonna have some good stuff, they're probably gonna have a few things that are better than Michter's 10. Like, I feel like the Michter's
Mhm.
10 bourbon and rye is about the level where if you're not first in line, like
Yeah.
it's a good
You
like
could still get a chance.
likely that you'll probably see it if you're there
Yeah.
pretty early and blah blah blah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed for you.
Thank you. And the funny thing is like, even if I were like the big thing is getting approval from my wife because she's gotta take care of the kids for the morning. But
Yeah.
then even if I thought, "Maybe I'll just wait till 7," I won't do that. Knowing me, I will get up at 4:30 probably
Right.
and just head over to the store because I would be waiting in bed at that point and
Exactly.
just
Not gonna go
awake.
back to bed.
And I wake up
Right.
at like 5-ish
Oh yeah,
already,
that's right. Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's not too hard.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess, yeah. So otherwise in life, I've had some weird back pain since Christmas, and it's gotten really bad this week. And I
Mm.
never have back pain, but it's like right on my shoulder here.
Oh, dang.
And it sucks. But I think it might be getting better. I
Uh,
like did a bunch of things. Like I was like, first I was like, okay, let's just like massage it a little bit. And then I was like, what else do I do? I was like, I'm not big into pain medication, but sometimes, you got to do it. And I'm just not big into pain medication because I'm like, no, just deal with it somehow.
yeah.
But then there's sometimes where I'm like, what I'm doing to deal with it isn't helping. So I'm like, I'm on
Right.
some like Advil, nothing crazy, Advil.
Yeah.
And then what was it? I tried push-ups to see if it would like kind of snap something back in place. And that worked for like a moment, and then it came back. And
Yeah. Or
then
just
what else?
little exercises over several days to try to just strengthen a little bit.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll keep doing push-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
But then I brought out like a foam roller and started like pushing that on my back on the ground and stuff. And that's I don't know. I don't know if that worked, but I'm feeling
Yeah.
better today. But
Good.
it's been so bad it's been hard to sleep.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like where
How
it gets
how old's your
bad.
bed? Time for a new bed?
I don't think it's the bed. I feel so comfortable in my bed. I like love my
Yeah.
bed. But maybe that's not the thing. Maybe you can love your bed and still get,
Yeah. I don't know.
pain. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's life. That's life for Cole. So that's all I can think about,
Yeah.
in terms of life updates. What about you?
We actually went and toured a daycare today. So we're,
Tour.
yeah, always with the tours.
Does she get maternity leave?
So yeah, funny thing, she does
Uh-huh.
get maternity leave, but it is literally half of what I get for paternity
Oh
leave.
wow. For paternity leave. Yeah.
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 My company recently doubled our
That's
parental
great.
leave. So it went from 2 to 4. So I get 4 weeks.
4 months?
Weeks.
Okay, cool. Still.
Yeah.
So she only gets 2 weeks?
Yeah, she only gets 2
That's not
weeks
enough
and
time to wean a child.
I know, right? I Cole, she's a girl. She won't have a ween.
Yeah, exactly. No weans on this girl. Girl
Uh,
dads.
anyway, terrible joke. She gets 2 weeks, and it actually used to be even less. I think it
Oh
was only
wow.
like 1 week or maybe
Yeah.
even nothing at her tiny little company.
Yeah.
At her tiny little company, she is one of the first ever to have a baby
Okay.
while working there.
Wow.
So I think there's somebody else who's like a couple months ahead of her. And so she's
Uh,
HR kind of got the ball rolling like, okay, we obviously need to update our policies if we're
yeah.
going to have people who are going to be birthing children now.
Yeah.
So they said the best they could do this year was to get it to 2 weeks. And I mean,
Yeah.
who knows in the future, but that's what it is this year at least. So
So what is that going to look like if she gets 2 weeks and then because what we did, Heather didn't get any, so she's even worse off. But we saved up for like PTO basically, like we like set aside for
yeah,
like the 9 months that she was pregnant to say, hey, we're going to pay ourselves with this money, assuming like basically.
yeah,
And then I got 1 week, but when I was at my prior company or two prior to this one now, um, they gave me 3 weeks and they gave Heather none, but she took off 2 months, I think.
yeah.
And then I took off 3, but I like used the first week, I think. And then I think I used the first 2 weeks. And then the third week I used when Heather went back to work for the first week. So anyway,
Right.
what are you doing, I guess?
Yeah, right now the current plan is where she would take, well, I'll obviously, at least take like 2 weeks or something right off
Yeah.
the bat too, so we're both
Hmm.
together. But she would end up having the 2 weeks off for maternity leave,
Yep.
and then I think she's got about 4 weeks or so of PTO that she's able to
Okay.
use up. And then at the end of that, if for whatever reason she still wanted to or needed to stay home, she could turn on a 6 month, I
FMLA or
think,
whatever. Yeah.
FMLA thing
Yeah.
where I think there's something about how insurance kicks in with some short-term disability or something where she would at
Yeah.
least be still getting like, I don't know, 50% of a paycheck or something. And,
Hmm.
but I guess without that, she'd do the 2 weeks and then like 3 or 4 weeks, and then I could come in then at that
Yeah.
point with my 4 weeks, and that'd get us out
Mhm.
to about 2 or 3 months
That's
of
cool.
when Chickpea's about 2-3 months old,
Yeah.
and
And
then
then
maybe
daycare.
daycare, maybe whatever their situation we're trying to figure out there. We're kind of interested in maybe doing like a nanny share with some other really
Okay.
close friends that
That's a
live
great idea.
like
Yeah.
really
With
close to
the
us.
woks.
Yeah.
Wok?
Yeah, actually,
Is
yeah.
that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, woks. Yeah,
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
With
Oh, yeah.
chicken nugget.
With chicken nugget? Yeah, man, look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was, yeah, Katie's been commenting on our YouTube videos a lot and
Uh-huh.
stuff lately, and she, had this joke of like, "You guys mention Ben Klepsig in every episode, so I'm just
Uh-huh.
gonna
We do.
hashtag Ben
We already
Klepsig."
did. Yeah.
So she's been leaving all these hashtag Ben Klepsig comments on YouTube
Mhm.
comments, and, but I don't think, like, Ben's responded or, like, nobody's responded or
Ben
at
should
all. So
respond.
she was like,
Ben, get
Is
on
it
it."
weird?"
No, no, no. No, Ben's like the perfect dude for that.
No, that's what I was
He
saying.
just probably doesn't read the comments, so
That's fair, that's
but
fair.
now he does. Am I right,
Yeah,
Ben?
now we will. Yeah.
Dude, okay. So I'm excited for the potential. We mentioned this on the drink along, but the potential of our meetup this year. And we're not going to
Yeah,
get into that yet. We're going to throw out a survey first, but I'm excited for the potential of it
yeah,
because we're going to offer up a few options and then start planning. We got to do that like this week,
yeah,
probably.
definitely.
That's
Keep saying
exciting.
that every week, but no, yeah, for real.
Nah, this is the week.
Um,
I'll have
yeah,
time tomorrow morning to plan.
yeah,
Oh,
starting to
yeah.
think about like dates and everything. And I mean, I love the idea of Madison, Wisconsin in the
Mhm.
summertime, but like obviously it would have to be before Chickpea's born. But even if
Yeah.
it's like right before Chickpea's born, like I'm probably not going to want to be away from home in case, Sam goes into labor or something. So
Mhm.
I want to know what's best for everyone, but I'm kind of leaning
Yeah.
later in the year. Even
Yeah.
doesn't even have to actually be Phoenix. I
I
don't
mean,
don't
the nice
necessarily
part
need it to be
about,
Phoenix, but
like, Madison or Wisconsin is it's still nice in the fall. It just
oh yeah.
can't
Ooh.
be like November. It'll probably have to
Yeah.
be like October or something
And
like that.
actually, yeah, like a nice cold, like
Ooh,
trees
brisk.
changing colors, like that'd be nice too. Yeah.
Dude, let me tell you something about Wisconsin. It's amazing. Like, blew my mind going there. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
I've been a lot of places. I've lived a lot of places, and Madison, Wisconsin was pretty dope. So, that's all I got.
Shout out to
I got.
Madison, Wisconsin.
Shout out to Madison, where this podcast was born.
Oh yeah, that's right. I always forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Story
So,
slam.
yeah, exactly. So, that's where I met, friggin' Ben Klepsig. What a
Where'd you meet
baller.
Heather?
Give me a
How
moment.
Oh yeah.
What were you
I'm
saying?
not sure how these ding. How do these ding? Oh, okay, not bad, not bad.
What do you
How'd
got?
you
Is that
how
the, stemless?
Yeah. Yeah, well, this is
Oh,
what
no,
she
it's
gave
one of
me
those
for
wisdom glasses.
yeah, wisdom. Yeah, yeah.
Wisdom. So, yeah,
I had asked earlier, how'd you meet Heather? I'm not sure I even know the story
good
there.
question. So, I was a part of, um a campus ministry in at James Madison University. And we shared like a connection with a similar ministry at University of Virginia.
Hmm.
And I had gone to James Madison for a year, my freshman year, and decided, screw this, I'm moving to Texas. So I moved to Texas, um, moved to San Antonio, and lived there for about only 9 months or so. Or no, only 6 months or so. But it was awesome. I really loved San Antonio. What a great place. Like I said, I've lived in a lot of places. Really enjoyed that. But there was something that I was like, I probably should go back to JMU and just I enjoyed JMU a little bit more than I enjoyed San Antonio, but still a great time. And then by the time I got back, Heather was 1 year less than me. So she was a freshman while I was gone from JMU. And then when I got back, she had been there for like, you know, 9 months or something like that. And I was like, who's
Yeah.
this new girl? So literally, I met her though. Here's the funny story. I met her at a conference for like campus ministry stuff. And like I said, like this is campus ministry, this churchy things, churchy stuff.
Yeah.
But I met her at this conference in Chicago. So we actually met in Chicago. But I don't remember meeting her. But I remember meeting someone, but I don't exactly remember her. But I remember the encounter as opposed to the person. And I had just gotten this tattoo done right here that day that I met Heather.
Oh wow.
And so she's like, "Oh, what's that bandage on your arm?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's my newest tattoo." And I'm like, "I got a few tattoos." And at that point, that was my third tattoo. And I have one on my arm right here on my shoulder. And then I have one on my rib cage on my side right here. And I was
Okay.
like, well, I got this one. And then I got this one and lifted up my shirt at the campus ministry conference and scared this girl a little bit probably. But yeah, that was
Didn't
me.
scare her
Like
too much.
I was very, Heather was like, you were weird and you were like, not average, like I don't know how to put it, like you were confident and but not always in things that you should have been. Like that's how I think, at least I shouldn't have always been so confident, but I
All
was
of that.
also like really like it was endearing. She said, like she was like all these things that you would say things, like there was this one time where I was like basically like I saw her after like an event or something. I was like, "Hey, I'll see you later. You're a really good dancer. Okay, bye," and walked away. And like, this was so what's the word? Intimidated by her.
Yeah.
So this is like how things evolved in our before we started dating. Was like I would say these things to her, like these very, in my mind, intimidated things that I was like, "This girl's amazing, out of my league," and then she would be like, well, you kind of showed you liked me in a good way. Like it was like endearing, you know?
Yeah.
So
That's cool. Yeah.
that's how we met. But yeah, it was kind of through that. And then we got to know each other through hanging out as kind of school campus ministries.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
you were saying like you're
Mhm.
confident but not in the ways you should be or whatever,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
all of those things that you were saying sounded like they could have been like a negative thing, like why is he like this?
No, 100%. Yeah. And like
But
some girls were probably really put off by it.
I
Yeah.
get it though, what you mean about it being like endearing and cute
Yeah.
and everything. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said some silly things. It's very silly things. But like it was all like because I was like intimidated and like she was totally out of my league and so I don't know.
Nice.
We'll have to wait until your turn next time because we're closing in on good time here. You ready to go to history or you got anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, no, I'm good for history. I'm excited to hear about all the different spots.
Oh, there's spots. All right. We'll be right back after this quick break. We're back. That we are. Really quick notes to get to. I want to give a huge shout out to John friggin' O'Hughes for being a baller. Give me a moment. And contributing a bottle for future drink-alongs. And I will be couriering out the samples soon. So if you're interested in being part of our sample sharing for our monthly drink-alongs, please consider hopping on our Patreon at the $10 tier or higher, and you'll be included. Great pours too. I mean, last week we drank an absolutely killer pick of Four Roses single barrel strength.
Oh yeah.
And definitely not your average stuff that we do on drink alongs. And I mean, we've done like Jack Daniel's 10. We've done some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And next three are going to be not average either. So keep an eye out, especially you Patreon peeps.
Yeah, and if you're on our Discord, you saw the
Yeah.
conversation happen about what
Yeah.
it is.
Well, that was a Patreon only conversation.
Oh, so you got to be a patron and then get in on the Discord so that you have access to the Patreon only channel, and then you can see what it was that's going to be in the drink.
Hop on now. So we're drinking today. We're drinking Red Spot Irish whiskey. That's whiskey with an E because it's in Ireland, not Scotland. This is technically our fourth episode on a Spot whiskey.
Wow.
Earlier on, episode 26, we drank Yellow Spot. Episode 142, we drank Green Spot Chateau Leoville Barton. And about a year ago, I believe it was for our St. Patrick's Day episode, we drank Gold Spot.
That was furnished by me too.
I was about to say that, which was a Bryan Rapp joint at the time. And this too is a Bryan Rapp joint. Anyway, we've talked about the spot whiskeys a lot. So I wanted to mix up this episode and do a semi-deep dive into why Ireland was crucial to whiskey as we know it today. So let's do some history. So you've heard of distilling, listeners, and distilling actually goes way back. In fact, some historians see a history of distilling going back around to about 2000 BC. But also, like for the sake of that was mostly for like perfume distillation with like oils and stuff like that. But there's history of liquor distillation going back to at least 800 BC. What is distilling, you ask? Well, it's a method of concentrating alcohol. People are very aware, mostly, at least that listen to our podcast. But in case you aren't, here's how it's done. In terms of liquor production, like I said, there's other reasons to distill stuff. But you take liquid with, like, that's water and alcohol, at least, and probably some other inclusions. And you slowly remove the alcohol from the mixture. The goal, using evaporation temperatures of each water and alcohol, which are both different, is to have a faster rate of alcohol evaporation to water evaporation. It's likely impossible to keep water completely out of alcohol, but the goal is to boil and condense more alcohol than water, at least more than there was before. So anyway, like I said, that 800 BC reference was what historians believe was the first method of distilling liquor found in Asia, where they were making liquors from rice and mare's milk, apparently. There's historical mentions of Greeks having some distilling knowledge in the 1st century AD. And in the 4th century, there's writings that attribute a 3-armed pot still to a woman known as Maria the Jewess, though we don't know if she was the actual inventor of it. But things got real in 700s AD when a guy named Abu Musa Jabir ibn Hayyan, someone knows that better than me, but I don't.
Sounded legit.
He designed what we know as the alembic pot still, and versions of which are extremely common in whiskey production to this day. Anyway, the problem with the pot still at the time, as time went by, rather, was that they needed to be cleaned before each use. They needed to like get it out and then send out the excess water and stuff like that. And by the 17th and 18th centuries, like a millennium later, basically, distilled spirits were getting a lot more popular. Enter a guy named Aeneas Coffey, who was Irish, and his buddy Robert Stein, not Robert Lawrence Stein, the kids' horror book writer, but this Robert Stein was Scottish. They created the Coffey still, which was huge for liquor distilling, revolutionary, in fact. Because it provided a way to mass produce liquor by offering a way to continuously run a still. And it's known as the column still or the continuous still. And it was around 1830 that this was made, and it helped Irish whiskey take off. Now, of course, this was when it was made, but Irish whiskey had been being made for years, centuries before them. Now, to be clear, they say Irish whiskey had been a thing since about the 12th century. But to compare that with Scotch whiskey, some people say that Scotch traces its origins back to the 15th century, almost 300 years later. And they even say that brandy, which is liquor distilled from wine, which is probably what you'd expect as the first like distilled spirit, that came around in the early 14th century. So some crazy stuff that Irish whiskey might actually be the first whiskey is kind of cool. But anyway, there is truly a debate historically, though, that did Scotland or Ireland start whiskey first? From what I've read and what I've collected, it seems like Ireland is the winner, but I might not be right. It's a lot of conjecture. But so let's just take a moment, though, and applaud Ireland for their contributions to the whiskey world. clappy, clappy, clap. But they've done a lot. And the funny thing is, I mean, they're not, I mean, they are big. Like Jameson's top 5 whiskey in the US.
Yeah.
But they're not as big as you'd expect for the first whiskey, I guess. Yeah, because anyway. The spot whiskeys, to just go over some quick history, they go way back to Michelin Sons, a wine merchant, and basically what we could consider today like a independent whiskey bottler. Before they were called that, they aged their whiskey in tunnels under the streets of Fitzwilliam Lane in Dublin, and they would mark their barrels with different color spots to differentiate which ones were aged however long. Currently there is a blue spot, a cask strength 7-year. Then there's the gold spot, which is like the 9-year you said. Then there's the green spot, which is a 10-year. And they do have some cool special editions, like finishing ones. There's something called Green Spot, Quail's Gate, and Chateau Montelena, as well as the Chateau Leoville Barton that I mentioned. Then there's the yellow spot, which is a 12-year. And then their oldest bottling is so far is what we're drinking today, the 15-year. And so let's get into that for a moment. Do you got the bottle? Ooh, he's got the bottle and the tube. It's a single pot still. So this allows for some of the all barley mash bill to include some unmalted barley. Ooh, nice. As opposed to a single malt Irish whiskey, which is 100% malted barley. So there's allowed to be some unmalted barley in here. Aged 15 years in a combination of ex-bourbon casks, sherry or Spanish sherry butts, and Sicilian Marsala wine casks. It is 92 proof. And one thing to note, it's a weird thing. The price of spot whiskeys has exploded over the past 2 years.
It actually within the last like 2-3 months.
Yeah.
There was a big jump. I'm not sure if there was a jump prior, but
yeah.
It's
how much did you get your gold spot for?
Gold spots were like 1.
Yeah, they're like 300 now. Yeah.
They were, I mean, Costco could not get rid. I saw
I believe it at that price. Yeah.
Pallets of gold spot. No.
What'd you get?
I saw pallets of gold spot at like 110 or 120 or whatever it was here.
Oh, wow.
There was so much inventory of gold spot. Costco's could not even get rid of it.
Wow. They were selling it at 110?
It like a year ago.
Wow. Yeah, still. Yeah. And then what'd you get your red spot for? Do you remember?
Somewhere around 170 or so. That was about a year ago as well.
So double that. And that's what that's what red spot is now. For total wine, it was $340 for a red spot. Crazy. Why not just buy a Redbreast 21?
I know. Yes,
which
please.
Is about $350. Yeah.
Please, listeners, please buy a Redbreast 21.
Yeah. Seriously. So someone's at front door.
Nice. Blue spot. No, you're good. Do you need to run?
Nope. No, it's probably just UPS.
Oh, okay. Blue spot also increased dramatically in price. I was I saw some pictures on a Facebook group where somebody was at a store and they were like, "Oh my gosh, I'm finally seeing blue spot for the first time." And they sent they showed a picture and you could see the price tag on the picture and all the comments were like, "What? Like do not
buy."
It was like $300 for a blue spot at this store. It's
what?
Like
for a 7-year?
7-year cask strength Irish whiskey. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with them, but like I do enjoy the spot whiskeys, but I will not pay $339. I mean, I even saw it at like 5 months ago. I saw it for 180 or something like that. Or the red spot, that is. And now it's like I saw in Total Wine it was like 340.
Yep. The MSRPs across the board, well, the MSRP was definitely drastically increased. So it's not just stores gouging. This is legitimately what the whatever the company name is wants the spot line to be sold at. Mitchell, right?
Mitchell and Son. Well, it's technically Irish Distillers is the one to distill it.
Gotcha.
Which they do Redbreast, they do Middleton, stuff like that. But Mitchell and Sons is kind of like the brand, or like not the brand, like the company.
The company,
yeah. So you ready to drink? Drank?
I am. I got a cork pop for you.
Give me that cork pop, that sweet, sweet cork pop.
Pretty
Ooh,
good.
that was loud.
Oh, must have been real close to the mic.
Yeah, either way, I dig it.
I'm curious. I remember you telling a story a while back about
Uh-huh.
how you had some weekend thing to go to, or some bottle share night or something with family, and you took a green spot that was finished in
Oh
Chateau
yeah.
something, and y'all like
Chateau Livre
finished
Barton.
it over the course of
Yeah.
like 2 days.
It was probably the fastest bottle completion I've ever had. Yeah, it was years ago. I mean, this was like 2016 probably. But yeah, I
So
brought Chateau Livre Barton, and it was like down to it was my family and another family, like with like it was only like a couple, and then my family. It went down to like a quarter of the bottle in one
nice.
sitting. So
So tell me about that, because like I know Green Spot is like supposed to be like $50 or something, or
yeah,
it's less than 100, yeah, substantially less than 100. But then the
mhm.
Chateau one is like
It's like
100.
100.
It's,
Yeah.
it's almost double, if not actually double, what
So it
normal
was
Green
a
Spot is.
Bordeaux finished one.
Bordeaux. Okay.
And I don't know what it was, but it was delicious.
And I assume you could really get a lot of that wine finish on there, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely noticeable over typical green spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the nose isn't blowing my mind on this.
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of single malty. It's more scotchy than it is Irish to me.
I see what you
Yeah.
mean. It's
It's
a
musty.
yeah, I was gonna say dusty.
Yeah.
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 And it's got the pineapple-y Irish that
Yeah.
I normally get.
Yeah.
Um,
But barely to me.
yeah, it's very light though on the nose, where you can really get your nose in there, and it doesn't hit you too hard.
Hmm.
Yeah, dusty pineapple, and very very easy.
Oh, what a great finish.
Yeah,
Love it. Okay, so up front, whew, what a good finish. I love that. Um, up front is single malty, like Scotch single malty. Um, it's a little, it is a little dusty, musty, like we were saying, but then it like converts into a nice, not too sharply sweet, but like a brown, sugary, tropical fruity note, if that
yeah.
makes any sense. Really nice switch up in the complexity of this. Really, really, really sweet on the finish, but it's not up front. Really, like it's like a synthetic-y sweetness up front. Quickly switches though to a nice brown, sugary tropical fruit.
Yeah, definitely tropical fruit on the palate too. On that finish though, well, so yeah, it does evolve from palate to finish in that I do get a lot of sweetness up front, but then pretty quickly on the finish, I get a lot of spice. Not like a lot of spice, and it's not like hot per se,
Yeah,
but almost like it's almost baking spices,
yeah,
like a pleasant, light kind of cinnamony pastry baking spice stuff to go along with the
uh-huh.
tropical fruit. And I do get a little bit of a earthy, I want to say leather, but I just can't think of anything better right now.
Leather
Something
works.
that something that really makes you think that this is sat in a barrel for a while.
Yeah. The funny thing is if you look at the other big name in single pot stills, is Redbreast. Redbreast is much more bright than this. This is darker. If that makes sense in a palette form. This is more depthy in a dark way. Like in a dull way is probably a good way to say it. Like I said, Redbreast is bright. This is dull, but they both have a nice development to it. They both have a nice tropical fruit notes to them. But the dullness that I get from this is like a sweet. They're both sweet, but one is like white sugar, like powdered white sugar, like Redbreast is. This is
Yeah,
more brown sugary, if that makes any
yeah,
sense.
totally agree. Totally agree. I'm not too experienced with Redbreast. I still have yet
We're gonna
to even
change that.
try Redbreast 15. I've never even
Have you
tried
had the
the
21 at least?
no.
Oh, I need to buy me a bottle real quick.
No, somebody shared 21 with me, but it was brought on a bottle share night, and I drank 30 other things that night, so I don't
Yeah,
actually remember
dude,
what
it
it
is
was.
unreal how
Yeah, I
good it
bet.
is.
My buddy Rob was wanting to
Uh-huh.
buy a Redbreast 27 for like years,
Mhm.
and was like, one of these days, days,
Yeah,
and then sure
650
enough,
bucks. Yeah.
MSRP like shot up on that one too. It used
Mhm.
to be 550 at Costco, maybe 600 at Total
Okay.
Wine, and now it's like 900.
What? That's
Yeah.
crazy. I
So
saw
I think the
Red Breast
days are
21
gone now.
recently, and I think it was like 350 still. I might be wrong.
That's typical price for Redbreast 21 there. Yeah. I think it
But for
used
the
to be 270,
value,
280. Yeah.
21's a better value for sure.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
27 is not 3 times better. Like that's
Kind of
it.
like, kind of like that barrel gray label, gold label.
Yeah,
How like, one's like
500
16
versus yeah.
years
Mhm.
and one's like 20 something, and but it's like
Yeah,
double to get those extra
yeah,
couple of years over 16, and it's like totally not
totally.
necessary. But barrel now reminds me of another thing that I was about to say earlier, which is
Yeah.
have been seeing this craze lately where extremely overpriced items have gotten like drastically clearance, just liquidated out
Oh,
because they've been sitting on shelves for 2 years,
yeah.
horribly overpriced, and then
Like a
now they're
gold
like, let's
label
just get rid of
barrel.
these. Yep.
Yeah.
And so Barrel actually lowered their MSRPs on the gray
Wow.
label and gold
Themselves.
label. Yeah, it used to be 250, 500, and now
Yeah,
it's, and stores got them from the distributor and paid a certain
yeah,
amount for them. So of course stores are trying to like hold to those old prices, like maybe
yeah.
somebody will still buy it. But if you look around, you might find a store that's changed the price already, and nowadays they should
Interesting.
be closer to like 180 and
Oh,
300
wow.
for the
Wow. I
gray
would pay
and gold
180
labels.
for a gray label or a silver label,
Yeah.
barrel,
Yep.
especially that seagrass, yeah.
Yep. Yep. I got one of those too.
Um,
I remember that.
yeah, what was I thinking? I got to try a gold label one time.
Oh yeah, did you?
Yeah, it was
Was it
on,
good?
At Madness, yeah,
Oh,
and it was
good.
spicy.
Oh,
I don't know about, like, great. It wasn't my jam when you really think about it for a bourbon, but it was spicy, I'll tell you that.
you remember which one it was?
It wasn't like Armida or it was a bourbon. That's all I
Yeah,
can say. It
cool.
was a gold label bourbon, yeah, which was like
Wow,
about 20 years, yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, a couple other ones too. I'll spare you the details, but I've
Uh-huh.
I've been seeing some liquidations
Great.
lately of high price stuff. So
So does
I
that
could
mean the
see.
bourbon boom is slowing down?
Well, I hope it's the obnoxious pricing of things,
Yeah,
as they're now realizing just how obnoxious it is. But I
especially
mean,
retail prices, yeah.
this spot line increasing their price is obnoxious. So maybe they won't sell any, and then in a year and a half they'll come right back down again, hopefully.
I have a
So
feeling they won't. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
that's a lot of money for a gold
Yeah.
spot.
I'm
I'm gonna drop some drops.
yeah, and I'm sticking with my assessment here. There's a very nice, pleasant spice that I get on these. And it's like a little peppery too.
Mhm.
So a little peppery with that
I can see
tropical
that.
fruit is
Like a
ultimately
white
what I get
pepper.
here. But I like the age, and I can say with confidence that that red spot is my favorite of all the spots. The extra age that you get on the red is worth it,
Uh-huh.
in my opinion.
Similar to single pot still fashion. Still tastes great with a little water. It might actually taste better with a little water. Was it 92 proof originally? Um, this is
Yes.
great. This is derish. Um, it's just
Toned down the
weird. Like I keep
spices.
comparing it to Redbreast though,
Yeah.
because Redbreast is like brighter and in my opinion better.
Yeah.
Um, still good though. Still good. We need to get you a Redbreast.
Definitely. Well, so Costco's recently had them at 110, the Redbreast 15.
Oh, really? What
Uh,
about the cast strength? Did it have any of those?
I actually have a cast strength. That's the one that I've had.
You do well.
And I have oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot this. I have a little sample box and it's got 12, 15, and nothing better than 15, surely.
Okay.
Is there one below 12?
Yeah, there's like Lustow, and then
That's what it
there's
is.
okay, cool.
Yeah. Lustow 12 and 15 are in this
I
box.
gotcha.
That like
That
I've been
sounds
planning
good.
on having my own little sample night on those, but I totally forgot that I had it in the back of the pantry.
No, that's funny. It's good. It's a good problem to have. That's like what
Yeah.
my mom does. She jokes that she's losing her memory and she'll hide chocolate around the house, and she'll be like, "Oh, look, chocolate. I'll
Yeah,
eat it."
going shopping for chocolate
Yeah, yeah.
around
Like
your
she'll
own
just
house.
find it in random spots. So, I don't prefer the nose, but I do prefer the palate on the water pour.
And
The
how is it
nose is
different for you?
too floral to
Mm,
me, and too dried apricot-y, but like in a really musty way, dried apricot-y.
yeah, really musty way for sure.
Yeah.
I do get less spice on the palate though with the water. I get the same amount of tropical fruit. I get the same amount of mustiness. So it's just a little more tame, a little easier. The finish was more intense, neat, but yeah, water just tamed it down a little bit.
So I like this, but I'm starting to already formulate my rating. But the hard thing is I'm comparing it, like I said, to Redbreast. It's still good, but Redbreast 15. Here's the thing about Redbreast 15. Before you go ahead and buy yourself one, Redbreast 12 cast strength, in my opinion, is better than Redbreast 15. Yeah.
Well, good. Hopefully, I will have the same assessment when I drink my little sample bottle of it,
Yeah.
and then I won't have to buy a
You should
whole
blind
bottle.
them.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
should blind them. Yeah.
Same kind of musty, dried apricot floral nose with the ice.
All right.
It's got a little bit of that like Irish tropical fruitiness, but it's very much covered up by those notes that I just mentioned. Yeah.
Kind of want to make sure I don't overdo the ice on this. I just feel like I don't know.
You can't overdo ice on Irish, in my opinion. I mean,
Oh,
you can, but it's hard to. I
well, I
love
can't.
ice on Irish whiskey.
One cube for me today, and I can't smell anything on the nose.
Mm,
Yeah,
huh.
no, I can't smell anything at all.
It's good on the palate, but it's not better. It's funny because I think I watered it down more than I normally do, and it's still tasty, still a little bit tropical, but it
It's
doesn't
plenty
bring out
sweet.
any of those crazy notes to me.
Yeah, it's
Are you
plenty
getting?
sweet.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, fruit sweet, plenty, and zero, none of that spice anymore. That spice is totally gone now. Um, still a little leather, still a little sweet. Summertime sipper, man, crushable summertime
totally.
sipper with ice, which
Yeah,
is, I guess,
especially if the
pretty.
ice is like making it really, really cold, which
Yeah,
sometimes it does apparently.
sometimes if you put enough in there.
Yeah, if you put any in there, you know what I'm saying? And it makes it more voluminous,
Mm.
super voluminous.
Infinite whiskey. Keep adding that.
Pack. Yeah.
I like it. Like there's, sometimes you add ice and you're like, this is terrible. I hate it. It's bitter. It's
Yeah.
whatever. But it's still great with ice. So it's definitely solid all around. There's nothing, no complaints about this. This is what I would want to drink if I wanted to drink whiskey in the pool.
Yeah. My thought is I said that it has a better nose on the palate and a better palate. I mean, better nose on the neat pour, better palate on the water pour. The ice pour was last place easily for everything. Um, but I think the overall winner in terms of the pour was the neat pour for me. Um, I I'm gonna go ahead and give this a rating. It's hard. Yeah, I just keep comparing it, but I still don't think this broke a 9 for me. Um, I think this is good, and I really love the finish. That's the best part about this. But I'm gonna give it like an 8.5 on this one.
Does it,
And uh-huh.
does it, quote, clearly stand out
In
in
terms
terms?
of Irish whiskey, yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's the what makes it stand out is that it is depthful in age and yet still brings those nice tropical fruity notes like pineapple and mango and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's complex in that way too. Like I would say this is potentially more complex than Redbreast, but I'm not always looking for complexity when I'm looking for a nice Irish. So
Yeah.
that's what I got, 8.5. And then I'll give it a secondary rating scale of
That was why I said clearly stands out. So we've got a
yeah.
solid B as
Yeah.
as well, being well above average. I mean, average
I would leave
is,
it at a B. A B plus maybe.
yeah, nice, nice. I do agree. I think the neat pour was best. I think that if I'm gonna not drink Redbreast,
Uh
I want a more unique experience. I don't want to just drink
totally.
something that's trying to be Redbreast and it's just
Yeah.
a little bit worse. This is different, and like
Mhm.
it's a whole other beast. It's got this extra spice. It's got a little bit of earthy leather,
Yeah.
um,
Does
but
have that.
still, yeah. I'm a little lower. I'm pegging at 8.3 or so.
Okay.
But I'm still in the B category. I do think that this stands out. I think that it's well above average.
Uh
I think that, the tier below is something where we'd say there's just more pros than cons, but
yeah.
there were way more pros than cons on
Mhm.
this. So I think it clearly stands out. I think, if I'm looking at my shelf and I see red spot, it's going to stick out in my mind for being, I'm going to remember what that flavor
Yeah.
is. And on certain days, I'm going to want that. So I'll put it well above average.
So here's the question. Would you ever spend retail on it again?
I would not.
Yeah, that's my thought.
Uh,
At least
I
not
would,
recent retail.
yeah, well, okay, obviously.
Yeah.
If I had, knowing how I feel about it, but if I
Mhm.
were to remove myself, where like I've never had it before, I just know what I'm gonna think about it.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to spend up to 200 on this for that experience of getting to have a bottle, drink
Yeah.
through it once to get a feel for it
Totally.
entirely. But to me, even if the price hadn't even gone up, even at 180 or whatever, this was a one and done experiment for me to
Yeah.
get to see what the red spot's like.
I like that. Well, we got our ratings in. I think you know what time that is, listeners. That means it's time for Whiskey World News.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to talk about some Whiskey World news. Staying on topic today. Today, the topic being
Ooh.
the spot line. We're going to talk a little bit more about the spot line.
Okay.
I'm going to
Okay.
read you an article from Rob Report. Didn't write it, just going to
Ooh.
read it. Written by Jonah Flicker. Good old Jonah
Nice.
Flicker. Title of the
Good
article is
old Jonah.
one of the best Irish.
Flicker. I barely know her.
There you go. There you
There
go.
we go. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool.
All right. Title of the article: one of the best Irish whiskey brands, being the Spotline, just dropped a
Okay.
new limited edition 23-year-old.
Spot did?
Yeah. So listen to this.
All that.
So Middleton Distillery, Middleton is the distillery just
Yep.
outside Cork, Ireland, where the most popular Irish whiskey brand in the world, Jameson, is made.
Yep.
In addition to the popular spot lineup of single pot
Yep.
still Irish
As
whiskey
well as
expressions.
Redbreast. Uh-huh. And
So is
Middleton.
Redbreast. Yeah, is that what you said?
Yep. Mhm. They're all made the
Oh,
same place. Yep.
gotcha. So now there's a single cask bottling of the esteemed Yellow Spot series, and it is
Okay.
available to be purchased from the Whiskey Exchange. It is a
Oh.
rare occurrence in the world of Irish whiskey. So, and
Yeah.
I did look
Single
that
barrel.
it is still available on the Whiskey Exchange. So,
Huh.
this article did come out in January. It's still available as of recording this. So, I assume when this
Nice.
episode comes out, you could still go get this if you want
They
to.
probably priced it at $500, so they were not selling it.
Wow, Cole Stradamus
Big
over
thinker.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you the price here in a bit. But
Big thinker.
Yellow Spot, originally launched in 2012, is part of the Spot collection. Also includes gold, green, blue, red, as we discussed earlier today. These are all single pot still whiskeys, meaning they're made from a mash bill of malted corn and unmalted barley. I probably could have cut all this
Malted
out because,
barley and unmalted barley. You said corn.
thank you very much. Malted barley and unmalted barley. Side question, did you ever see anywhere, did they disclose how much is unmalted barley, or is that like a trade secret thing?
No, but there are rules. You can only use so much unmalted barley in a single pot still.
Interesting.
I don't remember how much, but there's
Yeah,
rules.
yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Anyway, a malted, unmalted barley, blah blah blah. So anyway, the core yellow spot expression. So yes, the core yellow spot expression is matured for 12 years in 3 different types of barrels: bourbon, sherry, and Malaga, before being bottled at 46% ABV. This new expression is something very different. It is a 1999 vintage. It is
Whoa.
aged for 23 years with a yield of 564 bottles. The whiskey was
Wow.
initially matured in bourbon barrels, and then it was transferred to just one single Malaga cask, previously used to age the sweet Spanish fortified wine. So you can purchase this bottle of Yellow Spot 1999 now from the Whiskey Exchange for $660.
Whew. I mean, 23 years though.
Yeah.
That's more than
I
Redbreast 21.
yeah. It is
I did
yeah,
that math
it's
in my head, listeners.
nice. It is 525 pounds GBP, but yeah, as of now, that's about $660. And you know, honestly, I think that that's a pretty fair price for such a
I would
unique.
say, yeah, and it's a single release, like it's a special release.
Exactly. I mean, Middletons are like $450 or something. I don't know what their age is, but
Wait,
the
Middleton's is $450. What do you mean?
Middleton's got like a fancy release,
Like a
unless I'm
very
getting the name
rare?
wrong. Yeah, Middleton very rare. That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Uh-huh.
Assuming that's a thing. You didn't just say
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
heard it. Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. All right.
It's very rare. Yeah. Look it up.
Yeah. Okay, good. Memory. Anyway, yeah, I feel like 660 is pretty fair for a super special 23-year fun special release for an Irish. Obviously, I'm not going to rush out and buy one, but
Yeah.
that's just, yeah. If somebody was like, Spotline is my favorite whiskey of all time, this would be an easy buy.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I might go Redbreast 27 in that range. I mean, Redbreast 27 is in the it used to be in the 600 range.
I totally agree. Yeah, if I was going to spend that much on a whiskey, I'd get Redbreast 27. And heck, I don't know how much. I mean, I don't know how good this truly is, but at 660, knowing how much I prefer Redbreast, I'd probably even throw in an extra $150 or whatever and get a Redbreast 27 instead.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real. I might not. Yeah. If I wouldn't buy it. Nothing is worth $600. I mean,
No
there are
way.
a few things like E.H. Taylor season wood, listeners. Keep an eye out for me. But yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of monies for an Irish whiskey.
That is a lot. But interesting to know they're doing a special release of a spot though, because I'd only ever
Yeah.
been familiar with gold, blue, red, just and of course the finished greens and all, but never
Yeah.
heard of a special release before. So I thought that was pretty
Totally.
cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
So we've talked about Redbreast, or not Redbreast. Well, we have talked about Redbreast.
Yeah.
We've talked about the spots, which that's kind of cool. That's like because I was even thinking when I was writing the history, I'm like, I bet you they're going to put out a 20+ year one soon. Apparently they did,
Yeah.
but a small limited release.
Right.
So I think, let's see. I think it is time for the next segment of the show that we like to call "What Whiskey Would You Choose?" And I believe Brian's got a good one this week.
I
Or no, we got to go over
do.
results.
Yeah. Before we get into that though, I'm going to tell you what happened last week. So
Bring it
last
on.
week,
Yeah.
I got you.
I
Last
said
week.
Pappy, so obviously I won.
Yes. Did you even look, or are you just like, yeah, of
I
course.
did at one point look, and I was like, oh, that's sad. brought up Pappy.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I wondered if some of the vote might come my way for people who are like, yeah, but my wife just like prefers scotch. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like for a wife that
Mhm.
already like despises bourbon, maybe
Yeah.
but anyway, that did not work out for me. Last week's question was actually, what is the number one whiskey your significant other likes or would
Yeah.
like? You know, if they're
Yeah.
not into whiskey,
Yes.
what's going to pull them into the world of whiskey? And Cole's
Mhm.
wife prefers Pappy 15. I mean, who doesn't?
Yep.
And
A
my
fancy
wife,
woman.
my wife prefers Dalmore 12 on the Scotchy route, but Pappy 15 pulled out the win, just barely 75 to 25.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Wow.
so yeah, a lot of love for Pappy this week. So weird. I don't
We
understand
had a
why.
lot of good write-ins too.
We did. So we got a couple
Yeah.
write-ins. We heard from oh, is it this is new to me. You're gonna have to tell me. Drew R. Toland. Is
Oh,
this
we
new?
love Drew Tolan. He's
Oh,
an old
Drew's Toland.
listener.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
he's not
Good.
old, Drew.
Good.
No, he's a longtime listener.
Very good, very good. So Drew says Yam 12. Wife
Oh,
loves
good
the Yam
choice,
12.
Drew. Yeah.
Low class high proof sent in a photo as always. Love it.
Yeah.
And that photo is Highland Park, the light.
The light. I couldn't see it. I was like, either it's the dark or the light, but no, I guess
Yeah.
it's the light.
I know I have a little experience with Highland Park the light thanks to
Was it good? Did you
my
try it?
buddy Curtis. Yeah, so
Yeah.
actually I say that I can't remember if we opened light or dark,
Okay.
but yeah,
Either
Curtis
way.
has both of these and I think it was New
'Cause
Year's.
of me.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. Cole
No, no,
got him
not
half
not to
price and
praise myself, but,
yeah, right.
it was just
Anyway,
very fortunate that they were all half off. Yeah, so anyway.
yeah, yeah. So good stuff there. I do remember liking it a lot. I think I remember saying I like this more than Highland Park Cask Strength. So
Nice. Says
whiskey drinking panda wives
18.
prefer Glenmorangie 18.
Nice. That's a good
Glenmoe.
choice. I like
Yeah,
that.
you like that one?
Glenmoe.
Glenmoe? I'm not sure. I've had Glenmoe 18.
I used to have a bottle. I finished it recently.
I thought so. All right.
Yeah.
We got Joel in him 09. So Joel says
Ayo.
anything in a sherry butt and over 120 proof.
I love that. I
Love
over
them.
what?
Over 120 proof.
Wow.
So
Emma.
over 120 sherry butts.
Respect.
Marco and AZ chimed in. He says wife enjoys Four Roses small batch select, Jack Daniels bonded, or Redbreast 12. Another Redbreast shout out today. Have
Nice.
we? Is that it? Did we just
That's
tip over
more
the line?
than
We've talked more about
I think we have.
Redbreast than the
Yeah,
spots
then
today.
Ben Klubsig.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah.
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 Oh, there it is. Hashtag Ben Klubsig. All right, cool. All right, Paul Clarkson. Paul Clarkson wrote in. He said she likes whiskey cocktails, but not solo as much. But he'd have to say short barrels, bee's knees. I'm unfamiliar with that one.
Yeah, never heard of it, but I'm
Okay,
down.
cool. Nice.
Yeah.
But Marco and AZ with that Four Roses small batch select, I remember that. I'm pretty sure he called that out in his episode that he did with you not too long ago.
That
And
his wife likes it, Jordan?
yeah, and that stuck out of my mind so much. I set aside a little Four Roses limited edition for if the four of us ever get together and
Ooh.
have a little date night.
Hey, you guys are local. You guys are tight.
Yeah.
I think you'll like Jordan.
Nice. That
Yeah.
is it for the write-ins, though. That is it for last week's What Whiskey Would You Choose? This week, the question that we have for you is
I like this
what
one.
what whiskey is more fun to display than it is to drink? What whiskey sits on your shelf and you enjoy that it's there? You like that it's there and it looks nice and everything, but when you go to reach, you never reach for that. You just like that
Yeah.
it's there and that's it. So
That's a really good question.
for
Mhm.
me, I'm going to take the easy route on this one.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Blanton's.
Nice.
I
Which
entry
isn't
buzzed.
bad.
Yeah,
It's
no, I
just
know. I
yeah.
I entry buzzed on Blanton's the last episode or the episode before. I
Uh,
don't know. It was the first time I'd had Blanton's in a while, and oh, it was for no, it was for the drink along. I entry
nice.
buzzed Blanton's because I wanted something with a little rye in the mash bill for the
Mhm.
Four Roses we were about to
That's
drink,
right.
and I
Mhm.
wanted it to be like 100 proof-ish or a little less. And anyway, I ended up loving that Four Roses so much more than Blanton's. And it's like I
Uh-huh.
knew that it hits middle of the road for me, blah blah blah, but it's still just kind of on a downward track for me. That like it just is not something that I ever crave. It doesn't stand
Yeah.
out on my shelf, but it's
Mhm.
such a unique bottle, and people love to see it. People who hardly know anything about whiskey come over to the house, they see it on the shelf, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I know what that is." So it's fun to have
Yeah.
on the shelf.
I like that. I'm gonna go. I was between Elijah Craig Barrel Proof and Michter's 10 Rye. Now, of course, Michter's 10 Rye and Elijah Craig Barrel Proof are done in special releases, like batches, or in this case, for Michter's 10 Rye single barrels. But I'm gonna go with Michter's 10 Rye because at least the single barrel that I have right here, I don't
Ooh,
know. I think that was a 21. Was okay. It was alright. And so but it's cool. It looks up. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful bottles in my opinion. The
totally
Michter's 10
agree.
series, and or like like 2023 or 25. We don't know, whatever. But it is a cool looking bottle, and collectors will be like, "Oh, you got a Michter's 10 Rye?" I'm like, "Yeah, do you want to try it?" Because I don't love it. So specifically
That
that single barrel.
Yep, that is
It's single
exactly
barrel,
how
right?
I
Yeah, yeah,
felt.
it's totally single barrel. Yeah,
It is single barrel. There
but
are
they're all
multiple.
similar in the year usually.
Yeah, they have several barrels for that year's release,
Hmm.
but they do not blend those barrels and then
Yep.
bottle it as a blend. So that's why
Yep.
there's like it's like the neck sticker says 23A
Yep.
whatever or 23B
Yep.
whatever. I
Mhm.
had a Michter's Tin Rye last year, so I think it was a 22. I'm surely it was a 22.
Uh-huh.
I was super medium on it too. Like
Yeah.
it was great. It was solid. You couldn't say anything bad about it, but it just like nothing really stood out about it. It was very mellow
Yeah.
and nothing special to me.
But yeah, I got a 21. That's what that is. But yeah,
Nice.
it was high. And then the funny thing was I sent another to John Hughes, and maybe he loves that one. I got it and I was like, maybe I'll find someone to enjoy this. But it could have been amazing because it was a different year. But
Yeah.
John, let me know if you're enjoying it.
Oh
So
yeah. Especially if it was a different year, chime in and
yeah,
let us know how it hits you because love to
totally.
find
I
out.
won't be mad.
I know.
Um
It's like your birthday
Next
bourbon
week.
debacle.
Oh, that was incredible. But I still am proud that I traded one for a 4 grain EH
Yeah.
Taylor.
Heck
But I still
yeah.
had 3 whole bottles of it. Um, so next week we are not putting it up to a vote. We were able to get some samples from Barrel, uh, the company, Barrel Bourbon or Barrel Craft Spirits. Um, and we have their new foundation release, which is a 5-year blend, 100 proof. I think we'll be drinking that next week.
Perfect.
So, is there anything I'm missing?
Nah.
Oh, no, go ahead.
We got a drink along new set of samples. Oh yeah, we talked about that
Yeah, we
earlier
did.
today.
A
Yeah,
little bit, a little
never
bit. But we
mind.
didn't mention what, which I normally
Yeah,
hold back. So,
and we're
mhm.
not mentioning what.
And we're not mentioning it unless you're on the Patreon
Boom.
Discord server. So, yeah. Um, yeah. Well, I guess it's time for the hopes. I hope that I can get a solid bottle of Mr. Sam or the Russell's single rick house or something like that tomorrow
Yeah.
where I'm not regretting the opposite of what I would regret if I showed up late.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's never it's the regret's never that bad. Even if
It's
you
not as
regret it.
bad that way as opposed. Well, if there was like only like I don't know, Eagle Rare there, that would I might regret that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not that I don't
yeah.
love Eagle Rare. I love Eagle Rare.
Right. And it's always good times going and chatting and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's not like it's like, I don't know, if it was raining and you didn't have an
Yeah.
umbrella or a jacket, that might be miserable. But
That would
I, of course, double down on that hope that you get something awesome tomorrow. I hope that store has all the best stuff, and I hope you're first in line, and I hope all that. But for my own sake, I hope that I remember to drink the redbreast samples. That'd be super fun for me to do
yeah,
here soon
make a
after
night
this.
out of
So
it.
I hope I
Yeah.
remember to go through those.
Nah, that'll be great. But most of all, listeners, well, no. I hope that your cat has a great time today.
You
But
saw him
most
jump
of
up.
all, listeners, but most of all, listeners, I hope that our love of whiskey lifted your spirits. well, I got this one, and then I got this one.